in a really quiet period work-wise, acting-wise at the moment. So I was really considering just not making a video, but then I thought, this is such a common experience, like why am I only filming when I'm busy and achieving stuff? Like that's just not realistic, and I think it is helpful to talk about how we can make the most of these quieter times mentally and with actionable steps to make sure that we're always moving forward, because I think it's so easy to feel alone and to feel like, oh, everyone else's lives are moving forward. Like so many of my friends at the moment are like moving out or taking like big life steps forward, and I feel like I didn't really process before I properly started pursuing acting how much, like, in taking the steps that you take to pursue acting, you have a less stable life sometimes, less stable income. So like all of these life steps and life stages that some people may be taking, you may take at different times, and I think that can be quite challenging to work out how your career will look compared to other people's who are not pursuing acting and all of that. So I thought I'd make a video so we can talk about it, because it's such a common experience. And if you want to support me and help me out, then please do subscribe, because I do really genuinely really appreciate everyone who subscribes, and it does really help me out. So if you could, please do. I always feel like I'm like really emotionally manipulative and asking for that, but if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you could subscribe, please do. Would really appreciate it, and let's get on with the video. So one of the things that's really helped me is to see this time as only temporary, because I'm applying to so many jobs and I'm really hoping that at some point I will get a job. And at the moment I'm lucky, like financially wise, that I can still like spend money on driving lessons, dance lessons and all of that. So I'm really trying to take the time to invest in the stuff that when I'm going to be working, hopefully soon, a lot more, I won't have time to otherwise do. Because when I'm working, for example, at the theatre I work at, I'm working evenings, so doing acting classes, dance classes in the evening is just not something I can do. So I'm really trying to invest in those things. Now I have less work on, less auditions on, I'm just trying to really like build my skills in those areas. So I've been doing private ballet lessons because I feel like I was always on about like, I just can't turn, and like I wasn't doing anything about that. And I've also started learning to drive, because so many jobs that I apply for are like schools tours or tours in rural areas or tours around prisons, and they require you to drive, and it's a bit of a barrier to get work if you don't drive. So I thought now I have the time to really invest in that kind of skill, and people have told me that although it's a big expense, now they've done it, they're earning so much more than they did before, because they can take on more work that they were otherwise having to turn down. So I thought, like, the prices are only going to go up. People were really like, the prices are going up, and I felt like I needed to compete against all these people who are like moving out, already have their driving licenses and their nice cars. So I thought, I'm just going to do it. So I'm learning to drive now. I've not been learning that long, but I feel like I've just been putting it off for so long, so I feel like that's something that I can do to feel like I'm still moving forward. And I've also been able to do singing lessons, which are a lot harder to schedule when I'm working and to schedule around my work hours. So I feel like I've also been trying to schedule and film more interviews for this channel and really work on this, because I think it's important in life that you're not just reliant on like feeling busy and fulfilled through like when you get auditions and all this stuff in the industry that's like out of your control when it happens, if that makes sense. Like I want to have stuff that I can work on that's not dependent on anything else. Also, I've realised that when it's quiet for me, it's also often quieter for other people. Like I've been speaking to some actor friends and they're like, I'm not getting much auditions at the moment, and I'm like, wow, like I've just been beating myself up a little bit, but realistically sometimes the industry's just quiet, and that's just the way it is. Like a lot of this industry is just quiet times, and I know quite a few actors who have done big professional things and big professional jobs and then not worked for months, and I think you have to be able to find that kind of inner peace in your mind and like happiness and a certain state of mind that's not affected by like your surroundings, so that when it's quiet you feel okay, and when it's really busy and you're doing loads of really exciting things you're also okay. I think that's really important, because otherwise the ups and downs can be a bit much. I just think it's useful sometimes to talk about how we're trying to make the most of our time, and mentally how we're trying to adjust to the ups and downs of acting life, because otherwise it can feel quite isolating. And someone actually did advise me once when I was in a similar situation quite a few months ago. I think like over a year ago now, I was in a similar kind of situation, and someone said to me that the uncertainty is actually kind of exciting, because I'm applying to so many jobs. Like, I don't know where the next few months will be going. Like, each job, like, if I got that, it would take my life in a completely different direction. And I think you get the opportunities that are right for you, right for your path, and comparing yourself doesn't help, because the things that they're getting aren't meant for you. And then so I just thought it's good to be honest and open about the lows as well as the highs. So I feel like I do that almost too much, to be fair, because I'm like, here's all my drama school rejections, but you know, I think it's so important to be able to talk about it, because then I hear from so many other people who are experiencing similar things. And like, if life was smooth and I got accepted to everything and everything happened, like, you wouldn't appreciate the highs as much, like the highs of the highs, because they're not all the time. So I hope this video can just act as a reminder that no one knows all the time exactly where they're going. We all have times of uncertainty, and in life and in our careers we all have quieter times, busier times, and that's normal, because otherwise, like, it's so much harder to deal with if you think you're the only one who's having these quieter, uncertain moments. And feel free to chat in the comments. I'm always up for chatting, and I love hearing about other people's experiences. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!